Welcome to the first of several conversations on religion and mental illness. I'm Dr. Nancy Keogh, a clinical psychologist and author of the book Wrestling with Our Inner Angels, Faith, Mental Illness, and the Journey to Wholeness. I'm talking today with Dr. Thomas Gutheil, professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School and author of numerous publications in psychiatry. For over 30 years, Dr. Gutheil has trained psychiatric residents. Dr. Gutheil, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure is mine.
In all of your years of teaching psychiatric residents, you are among the first to have introduced the idea of taking a religious history. What has been your experience in dealing with the residents, and how have you helped them, if you have, to overcome their resistance?
Resistance is unfortunately the word. I think many of them are very uncomfortable about exploring a religious background or religious history, in part because of the historical association of certain symptoms with religious preoccupations, obsessions, delusions, hallucinations, and the like. So I will ask a resident, did you take a sexual history on the patient? And they go on for minutes on end with this appalling sexual history. And then I say, nice sexual history, did you take a religious history? And the resident says, gee, that's kind of personal, isn't it? And besides, isn't it obstructed by the First Amendment? I said, I didn't say persecute them or discriminate or convert them. I said, ask them questions about their religion. And you're dealing with a basic asymmetry. For mental health professionals, the majority are atheist or agnostic. For the average person, religion may be either the most or one of the most important things in their lives. So there's a basic sense of not being on the same page about this. Another dimension is that, of course, way back at the beginning, Freud referred to religion as an illusion, and there are a number of residents who sort of still haven't recovered from that. So the best way of teaching is demonstrating. And so when I interview in public, when a group of residents are there and I'm interviewing a patient, I always make sure to include, has your faith been a source of any strength or comfort to you? And the patient says, yes, no, maybe, used to be, isn't anymore, or something. And then we lead from that and see where that goes. I will then follow up with, well, do you pray? Yes, no, maybe. If yes, I say, well, what do you ask for? I'm also interested in not only religious practices, but practices around the funerals for people who have lost someone, and also beliefs about the afterlife for individuals who are desperate enough to contemplate suicide. But it is still an uphill battle. My sense is that the residents who are about to present a case to me have been coached by their seniors to be sure to include religious questions in their history. I'm not sure that's very widespread, unfortunately.
But isn't it striking to you in a profession that's so interested in what goes on inside of a person's mind and heart and feelings, that this area is so consistently omitted?
I couldn't agree with you more. It's a paradox of kinds. You and I are familiar with the situation where many of the scales that assess suicidality don't have any religious dimension to them, no questions or entries. And that's another kind of paradox. We seem to know that this is important. We seem not to act as though it were.
So in leaving our viewers with one message, what would you like to communicate?
The shortest answer is, you've got to ask.
Oh, always ask.
Always ask.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gutheil, for being a part of this conversation.
My pleasure.